Good morning, everyone. Namaskar. आगे पढ़िए. Rule number 2: maximum muscle fiber recruitment. This is the golden principle of weight training. The more muscle fiber you recruit, the more you can lift. The more you lift, the more calories you burn, both during exercise and afterward. To recruit maximum muscle fibers, the chosen exercise should, in number one, involve maximum number of joints. As moving through more joints means recruitment of more muscle fibers versus moving through a single joint. Number two is train larger muscle groups before the smaller muscle groups, as they have a higher ability to employ muscle fibers. So other than training bigger muscles groups fast and movement through multiple joints, there is another factor that influences the muscle fiber recruitment. It is called the substrate availability, or in simple words, the fuel available to fire these muscle fibers. Fuel for strength training. Now, as we know, weight training uses the anaerobic system, more specifically the glycogen lactic acid system. The muscle contract and then perform exercise using their stored glycogen stores. Muscle glycogen is not just short in supply, but takes a long time to replenish once its stores are exhausted. With regular exercise, our body adapts and responds by increasing its ability to store muscle glycogen. So, but for beginners or even trained athletes, the sequence of exercises of paramount importance, because you don't want to run out of fuel because before you reach the main task or perform the big calorie burning exercise. This fuel limitation has led to one more instruction being added to make your exercise more efficient, both in burning calorie as well as improving on the strength and bone mineral density. This is number one, is perform higher intensity before lower intensity exercise. If you look at the reference table for the strength training on page 10, on page 80, and apply these rules, then you will work out in the following orders: legs, back, leg, back, chest, shoulders, arms. Legs, back, chest, shoulders, arms. And within legs, you prioritize multiple joint exercises like squats before leg extension. And with the chest, your chest press, higher intensity, more exhausting before doing the flies. And with the back, you would want to do a bent over row, which is done using free weights like the barbell, and is of higher intensity. Before doing a seated row, use of machines reduces the intensity even if the muscle group employed is the same, as in the example of bent over row and seated row. Technical note: correct technique. Essential to perform any weight training workout is the correct technique or the form. This means allowing joints to move through their full range of motion, ROA, range of motion, not using momentum to create movement. This follows from the maximum muscle recruitment principle. A muscle which is fatigued by the use of single joint exercise will not be able to allow the joints to move through the full range of motion in a multi-joint exercise. For example, after contracting and fatiguing the squats through leg extensions, the leg will not be able to contract the squats through the full range of motion. In a squat or lunge or even step-ups, this will not just limit the efficiency of the squat or the multi-joint exercise, but will pose a risk to the joint involved. Thoughtless exercise behavior that pays no attention to the science behind exercise is the leading cause of gym injuries. Most of the people, mostly to the poor little TBLJ, sometimes straining the muscles too. This whole prioritizing of exercise is not just to make optimum use of glycogen, but also because the sequence of exercise has a profound effect on fat burning. After burn, when larger muscles are employed using multiple joints and the intensity is kept challenging or high, then it not just results in maximum calorie burn in that 1 hour of exercise, but it also gives you more afterburn. Afterburn is when the body at rest burns calories at a higher rate post-exercise as compared to what it would normally have. A very important consequence of afterburn or EPOC is that the anaerobic pathway can take up to 48 hours to recover. So, never plan weight training or sprinting sessions on consecutive days. Without adequate recovery, no anabolism and therefore no fat loss can take place. Also, what you should keep in mind is that lactic acid, which is a byproduct of anaerobic metabolism, can be used as a fuel by the aerobic pathway. It makes sense then to plan an aerobic workout on the day after the anaerobic. It helps achieve two things. The aerobic pathway can use lactic acid as a fuel, and the lactic acid can be get used quickly, leading to better recovery from the anaerobic workout. So you should pay close attention to the exercise sequence, not just what you do on any given day, but what you plan to do a day prior or after the exercise. So let's add one more to the instructions. Number 7, allow for adequate recuperation between two weight training sessions to allow the body to repay oxygen debt, resynthesize glycogen, and repair wear and tear to the muscle tissue. This rule is applicable even if you are training two different body parts in consecutive sessions. Here is a technical note, soreness or DOMS. Glycogen, the fluid that is used during exercise, provides the energy for muscle contraction by breaking itself down, creating a byproduct called lactic acid. With accumulation of lactic acid in the muscle experiences fatigue. And beyond a certain concentration of lactic acid, the muscle will refuse to contract or take part in exercise, which means that even if the muscle has the required strength, in the presence of a certain concentration of lactic acid, it will be unable to perform the task at hand. It is exactly this lactic acid concentration in the blood that leads to what is called soreness in the muscles. The mitha dard that you feel the next day after exercise in weight training lingo, this is called delayed onset of muscular soreness. DOMS, delayed onset of muscular soreness. So let's say you train your legs on Monday. On Tuesday, your legs revolt even when you want to get off the chair or sit on one. It is not that your quads don't have the required strength to get off the chair or your hamstring have lost the ability to lower you onto the chair, but they hurt and show unwillingness to perform these activities. So what should you do then? Rest. No, that would make it worse. The, the thing to do then is more activity, more specifically an aerobic workout, a light jog, a walk, or cycling for half an hour. This is because the muscle, liver, heart, or kidney tissues in the presence of oxygen can use up the lactic acid. Rule number 3 कल पढ़ेंगे, duration not more than 60 minutes. So आज तो हमारे साथ डॉक्टर साहब नहीं है, फिर कल मिलेंगे. आशा करता हूँ आज के दिन आपके लिए बहुत